The morning the company announced its biggest promotion in 20 years, one quiet father walked into the glass headquarters carrying a worn leather lunch bag, completely unaware that by sunset he would lose everything he had spent 15 years building. 33 polished executives stood proudly in tailored suits beneath bright conference room lights, smiling for cameras as they celebrated their victory. Hidden in the back of the room stood a humble maintenance supervisor named Elias Carter, a 38-year-old widowed single father whose hands carried the marks of honest work instead of expensive watches. Before the day ended, the CEO would choose all 33 executives over him. But within weeks, something unbelievable would happen. Every major client would reject the company's elite leadership and begin searching for only one man, Elias Carter. If you believe kindness, honesty, and second chances still matter in today's world, please like this video, leave a comment, share it with someone who needs hope, and subscribe to Kindness Tales Story. Your support helps inspiring stories reach more hearts around the world. The city awakened beneath a bright blue sky filled with warm sunshine reflecting from hundreds of office windows. Elias had already been awake for hours, preparing breakfast for his 8-year-old daughter, Nora. Since losing his wife 4 years earlier, every morning followed the same peaceful routine. He packed Nora's school lunch, carefully braided her long brown hair after watching online tutorials night after night until he learned how, and walked her to the neighborhood school before catching the early train downtown. Their apartment was small, but every corner held warmth instead of luxury. Family photographs covered the walls, plants sat beside sunny windows, and laughter somehow filled the rooms despite the challenges they faced. Elias never complained about life. His salary was modest, and after rent, groceries, school supplies, and medical bills from his late wife's illness, very little remained. Still, he believed that dignity came from how people treated others rather than how much money they earned. At Hartwell Dynamics, a rapidly growing technology company, everyone knew Elias. He remembered birthdays, stayed late whenever equipment failed, helped interns carry heavy boxes, and somehow knew every employee by name. Although his official position was maintenance supervisor, many quietly admitted that the building simply worked better whenever Elias was around. Unknown to most employees, many important clients appreciated him more than anyone realized. Whenever visiting executives arrived, Elias greeted them warmly, offered directions, solved unexpected problems before meetings began, and treated every guest with genuine respect. Those simple moments left lasting impressions far stronger than polished presentations ever could. The company's CEO, Victor Halden, saw business differently. At only 46, Victor had built Hartwell Dynamics into a billion-dollar corporation by focusing almost entirely on numbers, rankings, and appearances. He believed successful companies were led by impressive titles, expensive degrees, and aggressive executives willing to outshine competitors. Kindness, humility, and loyalty seemed old-fashioned to him. As profits increased, Victor became convinced that people were replaceable. When the board approved a major restructuring plan, Victor proudly introduced 33 newly promoted executives who would lead every important client relationship. Elias had quietly submitted an internal application for a newly created Director of Client Experience role after several senior managers encouraged him to try. They believed no one understood clients better than he did. His application never reached the interview stage. Instead, Victor publicly announced that Hartwell Dynamics needed leaders with executive presence. Elias understood exactly what those words meant. His years of loyalty could not compete with expensive suits and polished resumes. That afternoon, Elias cleaned his small office without bitterness. He congratulated every promoted executive who walked past him. Some barely acknowledged him. Others offered polite smiles before hurrying away to celebrate. Life continued. The following weeks began under bright summer mornings. Nora proudly practiced for her school's music recital while Elias continued arriving early at work. Although disappointed, he refused to let rejection define him. Every client entering the building still received the same warm welcome. But inside Heartwell Dynamics, something unexpected slowly unfolded. Several long-time clients started requesting meetings with the gentleman who always helped us downstairs. Some remembered Elias carrying presentation equipment when elevators failed. Others recalled him finding lost laptops, calming nervous visitors, or arranging emergency meeting rooms without being asked. One international client mentioned that Elias had spent nearly an hour helping an elderly board member whose taxi never arrived. No cameras had recorded those moments. No executive reports mentioned them. Yet clients remembered every act. Meanwhile, the 33 executives focused heavily on sales targets and quarterly reports. Meetings became shorter. Relationships became colder. Clients noticed. Within 3 months, contracts worth millions were placed on hold. Customer satisfaction scores fell dramatically. Competitors sensed weakness. Victor blamed market conditions. The board blamed economic uncertainty. No one blamed the disappearance of genuine human connection. One sunny Tuesday morning, an unexpected email arrived from one of the company's oldest international partners. Instead of confirming a contract renewal, the client requested a private meeting, not with executives, but with Elias Carter. Confused managers assumed it was a mistake. It wasn't. The visiting chairman explained that every successful partnership depended on trust, and throughout 10 years of visiting Heartwell Dynamics, the one employee who consistently demonstrated honesty, humility, and care had always been Elias. If the company wanted to continue doing business together, they wanted him overseeing their relationship. Word spread quietly. Then another client made the same request. Then another. Soon nearly every major partner specifically asked whether Elias would attend meetings. Victor reluctantly assigned Elias temporary responsibilities simply to satisfy clients. What happened next surprised everyone. Without using complicated business language, Elias simply listened. He remembered personal details clients had shared years earlier. He asked about their families, their communities, and their long-term goals before discussing contracts. Instead of rushing conversations, he built trust. Business began returning almost immediately. Clients who had delayed signing agreements suddenly renewed them. New referrals appeared. Even competitors started asking why Heartwell Dynamics had suddenly regained its reputation. Inside the office, many employees realized something important. Leadership wasn't created by promotions. It was earned through consistency. The 33 executives grew increasingly uncomfortable. Some quietly criticized Elias, suggesting he lacked professional polish. Others claimed clients only liked him because he was friendly. But numbers refused to support their arguments. Every account Elias touched improved. Every relationship strengthened. Revenue climbed. The board demanded answers. Victor finally reviewed years of client feedback instead of quarterly spreadsheets. Hidden inside thousands of survey comments appeared the same recurring name. Elias. Not once. Not occasionally. Hundreds of times. Clients praised his kindness, patience, reliability, honesty, and ability to solve problems without seeking recognition. Victor realized he had overlooked the person who represented the company's values better than anyone else. One afternoon beneath a clear blue sky, Victor walked through the maintenance department for the first time in years. He found Elias repairing an air conditioning unit because another technician had called in sick. His sleeves were rolled up, his hands carried grease stains, and despite the hard work, he smiled when greeting everyone passing by. For the first time, Victor understood that greatness rarely announced itself. It simply showed up every day. The board unanimously created a completely new executive position designed around client relationships and organizational culture. This time there were no interviews. There was only one candidate. When Victor personally offered Elias the role of Chief Client Partnership Officer, Elias accepted only after asking one question. Could he continue finishing work early enough to walk Nora home from school every afternoon? The board smiled. His schedule was immediately adjusted. Months later, Hartwell Dynamics became known not merely for innovation but for extraordinary customer loyalty. Other corporations studied the company's turnaround, expecting to discover revolutionary technology or aggressive marketing strategies. Instead, they found a culture transformed by one humble father who believed every person deserved respect regardless of status. Employees stopped competing to appear important and started helping one another again. Executives visited maintenance teams. Receptionists joined planning meetings. Managers learned the names of security guards and cleaning staff. Small acts of kindness gradually reshaped an entire corporation. At home, little changed for Elias. Every evening remained filled with homework at the kitchen table, homemade dinners, neighborhood walks beneath bright afternoon sunshine, and bedtime stories for Nora. Success never changed the values that created it. Years later, Nora would proudly tell classmates that her father wasn't famous because he became an executive. He became an executive because he never stopped being kind. If this story touched your heart, please take a moment to like, share, and leave a comment. Your support helps inspiring stories reach people who may need hope today. Special request: comment below with one word, kindness, if you believe genuine character will always outshine titles and status. Some people spend their lives chasing impressive positions, while others quietly earn something far more valuable: trust. Titles can be awarded in a single meeting, but character is built through thousands of unseen moments. In the end, the CEO chose 33 executives over one single dad, but every client chose the man who never forgot that business begins, and ends, with humanity. And that made all the difference.